All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. As everyone probably knows by now, a major storm is coming to Seattle and our entire region. This is a potentially very dangerous storm with significant snowfall and winds. It will be dangerous to drive and to be outside. We expect the snow to begin accumulating on our roads in the next few hours. The snow will pick up overnight. Weather Service is predicting 6 to 8 inches, but there's a possibility for more snow than that, with one person predicting almost a foot of snow. We can expect the evening commute this evening to be incredibly difficult. If you can do it, please leave early. We are also monitoring the potential for even more snow. Right now, the Weather Service is predicting a series of storms working through our region tonight, over the weekend, and perhaps Sunday night. I just got done meeting with members of my cabinet and our partners to make sure that we were as prepared as possible. You'll be hearing from a number of those people today, everything from our roads to our utilities to City Light to our partnership with Metro and the county to people who are experiencing homelessness to make sure we have places, warm places for people to go. Our number one goal is to keep people safe. We want to make sure that we can continue to deliver essential services to make sure that fire and police can get to where they need to get. And we have been preparing for this event for days. Our Seattle Department of Transportation teams have been working in back-to-back 12-hour shifts all night to begin treating over 1,100 lane miles of our most critical roads. Citywide, we pre-position vehicles, supplies, and people, north and south. We've opened our severe weather shelters so we can get more people coming inside. We have information that have been provided to all the police and fire to make sure that if they see someone who is outside, they know where they can get them warm. In the case of power outages, City Light we will be opening warming shelters for people if they lose their power. We will stay tuned on that. The city and its partners are working 24/7 to limit the impact, but we really need the public to step up again. And I want to say once again, during the closure of the viaduct, the public really did what they needed to do to make that experience better for everyone. And people will stay safe if they act safe. If you do not need to go anywhere, please don't drive. Do not get in a car and drive. If you can, please stay home over the weekend. If you go outside, make sure you dress warmly. And please check in on your neighbors. If you haven't seen a neighbor for a few days, check in on them. We have seen in Seattle, people don't necessarily believe those street closed signs mean them. They do mean you. When the street is closed, please don't just move the sign and try to get through it. We've seen more and more spin outs on steep hills. There's a reason we're closing those roads. If accidents happen, it just means that the fire and police can't get to where they need to get if there's an emergency. Keep your own sidewalks clear so people can get through. Please continue to monitor the forecast and stay updated on our city operations. If you want, you can sign up for alert.seattle.gov, and those alerts will come directly to your phone or your device. I just want to say this has the potential to be a very serious event over a period of days. And we know that Seattle does not usually do very well in the snow. We want to do everything we can, and you'll hear the level of preparation we're doing. But again, the number one thing that will keep you safe is for people to act smart. Stay home if you can, dress warmly, don't sled in streets, don't go on closed roads, use common sense. And if we all do those things together, check on our neighbors, bring people inside, we're going to get through this like we get through other things. Thanks, and with that, I'll give it to Executive Constantine.
Well, thank you, Mayor Durkan. You know, it feels like in transportation here in Central Puget Sound, we've played a grueling game. We've just finished the fourth quarter. We've got the tunnel open, and now we're going into overtime with a snow event that's a once every decade or two occurrence. I am really so pleased with how well people responded to the viaduct closure. We avoided many of the worst predicted outcomes in that. Tunnel's open now, but now we face days and perhaps longer of inclement weather, of difficult travel. And so this is going to try all of our patience, but I do think that we are better prepared than we've been in the past. And I think that some of these folks are going to be able to tell you a little bit more about those preparations. Our commitment to you at King County: Metro will do everything within its power to maintain safe service levels. When we make schedule and route adjustments, we will do so in a timely manner and make it clear to the public the changes to any route. While Seattle, Bellevue, and other cities handle snow removal efforts in their respective jurisdictions, King County also handles roads and bridges for the unincorporated areas. Crews have been working nonstop, pressing all available equipment, whether it's in the roads division or throughout our government, into service to clear snow and ice as quickly as possible. To be certain, there will be unexpected challenges this evening and in the days ahead. And that's what happens when frigid weather hits a region with so many hills and so many bridges. So to help us get through the rest of today, we're calling on employers to please be flexible. Allow people to leave early, if at all possible. Those who have to remain on the job, please check our website, metrowinter.com. That's metrowinter.com, as well as Metro's Twitter account, and rider alerts for the latest service updates. Now, over the weekend, it may become necessary for us to go to what we refer to as the emergency snow network. This reduces service to roadways that we know receive priority snow and ice clearing. The emergency snow network was a joint planning effort with the Seattle Department of Transportation and Metro, and with all of our regional partners. And in a few minutes, Metro General Manager Rob Gannon is going to walk through what it means for bus service and Metro's plans for the days ahead. We have 4 takeaways. If you can, go home early today. Your bus commute will likely be different, so be aware of that. Check metrowinter.com and Metro's Twitter for the latest transit news. And please, for today, for the weekend, and yes, for Monday, plan ahead. And remember, it's only 40 more days until spring. The speakers who come up will be introducing themselves as we go along, and then we'll be taking questions at the conclusion. Thank you.
Who wouldn't want to head of Seattle Department of Transportation?
Sam Zimbabwe, Seattle Department of Transportation. This is quite a welcome to the region, so thanks everybody. We have been, as the mayor said, we've been implementing our winter response plan. We've been activated for the last 24 hours, doing as much pre-treatment as we can on our most critical roads. We'll continue plowing, treating the roads, trying to get them clear over the weekend. We are using all of the available tools. We had as much preparation as we could. Just to reinforce some of the messages, avoid driving if you can. It helps us get access to the roads to keep them clear. We need you, if you do need to drive, to make sure that you have outfitted your car for winter weather, including chains, other traction devices. The more that we have to help people get unstuck, the less we can do to keep the roads clear. Businesses and residents need to help us by clearing their sidewalks that they are responsible for. We're working on the bridges and places where there aren't adjacent property owners. We need people to clear their sidewalks as soon as possible. With this much snow accumulation, we are going to plow to the right. If you are parked on a green or gold route on our arterial roads, your car may well get plowed in and then need to be dug out once the storm is over. You can follow us on Twitter as well, at Seattle DOT and at S.Traffic, Traffic, or on the web, seattle.gov/transportation. Thanks.
Thanks. And I just want to emphasize 2 things. One is I just want to thank all the crews at the Seattle Department of Transportation and City Light who have done a great job over the last 4 days. And I just want people to know we really prioritize which roads we can plow or de-ice. And we have a system. We can't get to every road. So don't expect that your road necessarily will be plowed. Go online, know now, know in advance, because that won't happen. The best thing for people to do is don't plan on driving anywhere, stay in your house.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, I'm Rob Gannon. I'm the General Manager for King County Metro. A lot has been said about not traveling over the next several days, and what I want to emphasize is there's still an awareness that people do need to move on occasion, and that's the role that Metro will play. The executive referenced the possibility of us moving to our emergency snow network, and that is our effort to assure that our buses can continue to move through this period, providing essential services, also helping people get to where they need to go when they don't have any other options. What I also want to paint is a picture of Metro already in a state of preparation because of the snow that's currently on the ground. What that means is while we're working to recover from the current storm system, we're also working to prepare for the next. We have a system that is already reduced. So looking across the entire county, our system is reduced by about 275%, a reduction of about 25%. Over the weekend, it's possible if we trigger the emergency snow network that you could see a further drawdown of our service to a 50% level. Again, that's across the entire county. And while that may seem like we are overcautious and preparing too much, what it also helps us do is stay prepared in the event that this is a storm system of long duration. At Metro, we're busy chaining coaches. We're getting our plows ready to go to keep our hubs open. We're doing all of this now, but we also have to have an eye to what happens on Sunday, on Monday, on Tuesday. Our system will continue to get more fatigued. We have to be really focused on recovery because when the snow does go away, we want to be ready to respond to that demand that is ready to get out of their houses, back on the roads, to work, to school, to wherever they need to go. So I'll emphasize what the mayor and the executive have said, that the best place to stay informed about Metro is on our website, metrowinter.com. And I also want to just do an early thank you to our partnership with the City of Seattle and SDOT specifically. If the last few days are any indication, we have brought our level of partnership into this arrangement that has not been seen in a long time. And we're very proud of the work we're doing with them. We know that working together, we will serve the region in the days ahead. Thank you.
I'm Peter Rogoff. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Sound Transit. And I'm also here to talk about how we're going to keep people moving through this snow event. When SR 99 was closed because of the viaduct closure, we took about 14,000 additional passengers on Sound Transit. And we are prepared to pick up that surge again off the roads and onto transit for folks that do need to travel during this snow period. We are very confident in our ability to keep light rail moving. Some people might have seen Sunday night, even when we don't normally operate, we were running trains over the light rail network to ensure that the overhead wires didn't ice up, that there was not snow accumulation on the tracks. That is our routine exercise in the advance of snow, and we will do it through tonight if we need to in order to make sure that we can keep light rail moving. I take great confidence in the fact that our light rail operations director used to run light rail in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He knows how to run light rail in snow and ice. He's done it before and he'll do it again. One issue that we could have is the availability of operators and maintenance technicians, their ability to get out of their house, out of their driveways in some instances, to get to work. But we have made preparations for that, even giving operators the opportunity to bed down overnight at the Link Operations Center. There can still be challenges. We have switches that are heated. We will do, in some cases, if in an icing situation, we will throw a switch the old-fashioned way, by hand, as has been done for hundreds of years on railroads across the world. We do need to ask for the patience of passengers, especially bus passengers. Our buses will only move to the extent that the roadways will allow them. Like King County Metro, our buses, not just in King County, but in Snohomish and Pierce County, many of them will have chains, especially those that have to traverse hills. We will not run 60-foot buses during this period. We will only run 40 and 45-foot buses, but we will serve all routes. I will repeat what many others have said. You need to check rider alerts. In our case, if you're interested in taking any Sound Transit service, which includes taking the Sounder trains that may be hampered on Monday, please go to soundtransit.org. You can subscribe to our rider alerts, or you can regularly check the website. That will keep you up to date on all of the bus routes, our entire light rail network, as well as what Sounder is looking like for Monday morning. So with that, I will just ask for everyone's patience, but we are very confident of our ability to keep light rail moving. We may have challenges clearing the platforms of snow, clearing the pathways, so people are going to need to be careful, but the train should be moving throughout. Thank you.
Hello, I am Dave McCormick. I work for the Washington State Department of Transportation. I manage the maintenance division for WSDOT. WSDOT has been doing what the public expects in anticipation of this winter storm. We have been working closely with Metro, with King County, with our suburban cities to be prepared for this very significant and serious winter storm. In our last snow event just last week, we were in continual contact with our partner agencies. We developed contingency plans as the snow arrived and implemented those plans. We anticipate continuing that fantastic working relationship. And so even if the snow comes in a little bit different place than it's forecasted, our staff are prepared. We have a plan. We service approximately 5,000 lane miles of highway in a 5-county area. We have over 100 plows. We have spent the week restocking, finalizing our snow plans, making last-minute adjustments to where our trucks are located, and we're ready to implement our plan. At WSDOT, snow and ice preparation is a year-round occupation. And so we spend the summer months planning, we spend the winter months implementing. What we would ask is for people to keep their safety at most in mind, prepare before you travel on the highways. Make sure that you give plenty of following distance to the car in front of you. If you see our plows are going 25 or 30 miles an hour. If you're going faster than that, you may be surprised as you approach our plows. Don't crowd the plow. Our staff's safety is, and your safety is paramount in our minds. And please give our plows some extra room to work. We had 4 of our vehicles impacted in the last winter storm. So additionally, what you can do is get some chains if you're going to travel on the highway system. I'm expecting compact snow and ice throughout the area. Chains are essential to travel in that kind of environment. Again, think of yourself and your family. Take a little extra time as you prepare to get out on the roads. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Good morning. My name is Barb Graff. I'm the Emergency Management Director for the city. We have activated the city's Emergency Operations Center in order to ensure a continuation of the interagency coordination that you've already heard that has been taking place for the last 3 or 4 weeks as the viaduct closed and before the tunnel opened. In the same way that Seattle Department of Transportation hosted representatives from the police department and Metro and WSDOT and other agencies, they're now completely concentrated on snow and ice removal, and we've replicated that same interagency coordination here at the Emergency Operations Center. And we will stay active in that activated mode for as long as the need presents itself. So that anything that needs to happen, one agency helping another or solving a problem that comes up that we need to address, we're on it and paying attention to it. Things such as Seattle Public Utilities and other departments helping to provide trucks and resources to SDOT when they needed supplies delivered. Things like the fire department helping to provide chainsaws and crews as City Light needs to be able to get to lines down and power outages. The last thing I'd like to wind up with, and it's a point that the mayor led with very appropriately, there's more than 700,000 first responders in our community. It's the people who live here and care for one another, friends, families, and neighbors. Please check in on people who live around you and offer whatever support you can to them. Thanks.
Good morning. I'm Carmen. I'm the Chief of Police for the Seattle Police Department. And I want to echo what the mayor said, that there's really nothing more important than the public safety during this potential inclement weather time. I can tell you in my 27 years, I have not seen the level of coordination between organizations and agencies that I've seen here. We are working diligently with our partners and have been for several days to make sure that we provide the best response to public safety that we possibly can. To that end, the Seattle Police Department has snow plans for every precinct. We've been coordinating with FAS and SDOT to make sure we have the signs that we need and the road closures that we need to have. And as the mayor said earlier, please don't move those signs. They're there for a reason. That's why we put them there. We've also been coordinating for our patrol vehicles to all be chained up. We've upped our staffing in the communications center to make sure that anyone who calls, has a call for service and calls 911, that they're getting a response, a prompt and timely response. We've also communicated to our officers a list of emergency shelters, and we want to thank HSD for providing that, so that we can continue to regularly patrol areas and look for people who are living unsheltered in the city and provide service to them. We have 2 vans and a squad of officers that will be looking around for anybody that we need to connect with and provide services to them and take them to shelters, which everyone has worked so diligently to make sure that they're open across the city so that everyone can sleep safely. We've dedicated a number of folks to our command staff for the EOC operation, not to the command staff, to the EOC for the operation, and we're going to make sure that we have that staffed up as well. I'm feeling very confident with the level of coordination that we've had that we're going to do a really good job here to make sure people are safe. Thanks.
Good morning. I'm Harold Scoggins, Fire Chief, Seattle Fire Department. First of all, I want to thank the community for always paying attention when we ask for your help. And this is another one of those times when we're asking for your help. Our fire department is ready to go, but in order for us to be effective, we need to be able to get there. So if you do not have to travel during the course of this weather event, please do not do that. But we also want to give you a few weather reminders along the way. If you have prescription medications, please make sure you get them ahead of time if it could cause a medical reaction to you over the course of this event when you may have to go out unnecessarily. That's very important. So get those prescriptions filled. And then we're going to ask you not to use warming devices inside the home that are not designed for being used inside the home. That's very important. And check those carbon monoxide detectors and smoke detectors during this very important time. But also want to give you another reminder. If you do have warming devices that are designed to use inside the home, they may not be designed to be used 24 hours a day over the course of 2 or 3 days, and they may have a problem along the way. So read the instructions and pay attention to that. And since we're asking so many not to drive, we want to make sure you're paying attention if you are navigating on foot. Now is not the time to be texting and walking. We need you paying attention. Many of the sidewalks are very slick. We're seeing slip and falls out there on the sidewalks. And as you're crossing intersections, make sure the cars are stopping before you start crossing the intersection and you don't step out. And drivers, we're asking you to give a little more stopping distance inside intersections, more room behind the cars in front of you. We're having a lot of bumper-to-bumper contact that way. And give those intersections a lot of room, and let's make sure it's safe for all. So just pay attention out there, but if you need us, as always, we're going to be there for you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Debra Smith with Seattle City Light, and I really appreciate the reminder about not texting and walking. I'll have to remember that myself. So first of all, I want to say, as your community-owned electric utility, this is what we do. So again, we are focused, and our crews are focused. They're talented, skilled, and restoring service after outages is somewhat of a routine business for us. That's not to say that this is expected to be a routine event. So I will start by saying that we will ask your patience as we move through the next few days. Our restoration protocol, if you will, is make safe, communicate, restore. So our first goal is to make things safe, and so it's always worth a reminder. If you see a downed power line, assume that it is energized and dangerous. Make a clear way around it. Communication is incredibly important to our customers. So one thing I will say is that if you live in an area where you have a history of experiencing outages, make sure that your devices are charged. Make sure that you're ready to deal with something if it does come your way. But we are also going to be working very hard to keep our estimated restoration times current. So that's a priority for us on this event, so that you can count on us and get the best information possible on our outage map. Our customer service center will be open 24/7 as long as it's needed. So if you have outages, please call us, as is your typical practice. And again, be patient. Know that we're here for you, and we'll be working as hard as we can to make sure that your power is on, stays on, and if for some reason is interrupted, is restored as quickly as possible. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Jason Johnson. I'm with the Human Services Department here at the City of Seattle. We have activated our severe weather shelters. Those shelters have been open for the last 4 days. Last night we had almost 140 people use that overnight shelter. The shelter is located at Seattle Center in the exhibition hall at 301 Mercer Street. There also is the Armory, which is open during the day as a warming center, and that Armory is open from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. I know that the King County has also activated their severe weather shelters, and there is capacity at the King County Admin Building, likewise capacity at Seattle City Hall. I'm encouraging everyone who is living outdoors, experiencing homelessness, to please go inside. We have these shelters open. There is capacity. We want to make sure that you're safe. The temperatures outside are very dangerous, and we have activated our outreach workers as well as the navigation team in partnership with SPD to make sure that there are people engaging with those living unsheltered and making sure that they know about the resources to come inside and be safe. Likewise, I just wanted to talk about a partnership with the parks. We are able to open a new shelter resource at Garfield Community Center. That's at 23rd and Cherry. That will be a 24-hour warming shelter. Priority will be given to families with children, but it is open to the general population. There will be limited services there, and that shelter will be open for the next 3 days. We'll reassess on Monday morning to see if we need to keep that warming shelter open. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Calvin Goings, Director of City Finance and Administrative Services. And our role at FAS is Finance and Treasury Services, Fleets, Facilities, Customer Service, and Animal Shelter. First of all, I want to thank Executive Constantine and Mayor Durkan for bringing together this cross-departmental, cross-jurisdictional effort, which is unprecedented. Thank you for your leadership. Our role at Finance and Administrative Services in this weather event is to support ongoing city operations. Specifically, in Fleet Services, our Charles Street and Holler Lake facilities are operating on a 24/7 basis, supporting SDOT's needs and operations going forward. In facility and operations, the City Hall shelter, as was mentioned, is providing capacity for 20 to 30 additional people, and our generators have been topped off at all city facilities, and we are monitoring vehicle fuel usage every 6 hours. In customer services, our animal shelter, customer service centers, licensing and payment operation centers are all operating. However, we are putting together minimum safe staffing plans in preparation for possible limited operations on Monday. Additionally, I want to encourage all city residents and all city employees to sign up for Alert Seattle. That's Alert Seattle. That is the best way to receive time-sensitive, critical alerts from the city about city operations. And I just want to remind folks, don't crowd the plow.
Good morning. I'm Christopher Williams, and from Parks, and I'll say a little bit more about the emergency shelter that we're establishing at Garfield Community Center. This shelter will operate beginning at 3 p.m. today and will go to Monday. It will operate on a 24-hour basis, and we are staffing it with Seattle Park and Recreation employees who have had emergency shelter training on an annual basis. We will provide food, cots, and indoor recreation, of course. And again, we have a 138 cot capacity. We will continue to kind of deepen the communication with HSD as we go through this to reassess our needs. For other park and recreation programs, we are canceling the youth basketball program across the city, as those programs rely heavily on staff's ability to show up and make it to work in the snow. We don't want families to show up and then be disappointed because staff weren't able to get there. We have also decided to cancel any fee-based program for which people have to register in advance. And again, those are very staff-driven programs that rely heavily on the staff's ability to show up. However, that does not mean that the community centers and pools won't be open. We will assess on a daily basis the staff's ability to show up and staff those facilities. So you can go to our website at seattleparks.gov to learn more about the open access to park and recreation facilities and programs. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Mami Hara. I'm General Manager of Seattle Public Utilities. Solid waste collections are dependent on safe road and weather conditions. So we thank Seattle's residents for their patience as we work within safe windows of collections. And Seattle Public Utilities is closely watching the forecast to determine whether our crews can safely handle pickups and will notify customers of any delays. I'd like to reiterate that it's important for folks to sign up for alertseattle.gov. And you can also follow Seattle Public Utilities at on Twitter at Seattle SPU. You can also monitor your trash collections on our website at seattle.gov/UTIL. In the event of a miscollection, SPU will make up collections as soon as possible. And residents with missed collections this week can set out additional bags of solid waste as necessary, absolutely free of charge. And I'd like to go in some more detail about pickup plans for folks by the day of collections. Thursday customers are being served today on Friday, February 8th. So if your collection day is usually Thursday, please set out your collection bins today. However, if afternoon road collections conditions don't permit our ability to complete your collections, please put your bins back and set them out for the end of next week. Friday customers are scheduled to be served on Saturday. We're currently planning on picking up Friday customers tomorrow on February 9th. However, if road conditions are as predicted, we will have to cancel collections for Saturday and delay until the end of next week. So please stay tuned for updates. And then Monday collections. If your regular collection day was Monday, February 4th, our crews will attempt to collect your garbage, recycling, food waste, and yard waste on Monday, February 11th. You can put out more than the normal amount of garbage and no additional charge, as I said before. But if we are not able to pick up your collections on Monday, we will alert you to tell you if we can do a midweek collection. It's important to us that we not have people accumulate their garbage for 3 weeks. So please stay tuned with our website if you need any additional information about your collection day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll take some question and answer, but just to recap so people know is pretty simple rules. Let's put the common in common sense, and people really do the smart thing. If you can stay off the roads, please stay home, stay off the roads, stay safe, check on your neighbors, don't crowd the plow. Remember that also that each of the departments that is showing up to help us relies on people who themselves have families, have to get to work, have to get on the roads. So keeping the roads clear is not only the smart thing to do, it makes sure that the people that need to get to work can get to work so that we can get the services we need. I also just want to say again, these crews have been running hard already. They're working 12-hour shifts. They'll be continuing these 12-hour shifts, and I think we really have to give a tremendous amount of credit to the men and women who have been out there day after day already, and will continue to do it to serve the public. And with that, we'd be happy to take any questions.
I guess I have a question. If we see a bunch of snow before the evening commute, as folks are coming out of these downtown office buildings, what are the best routes? What's the top of the list that you're going to be clearing and plowing first?
Sam, do you want to talk to that?
Sure. So most of the downtown streets are part of our arterial network. We're going to be working to get people to the freeways and keeping those arterial streets clear. If they see snow building up and it's not passable, they should look for another route as well.
And check, and again, for everyone who didn't check the metro schedule, because many people, as we know, we're a great city. A lot of people take transit, whether it's Sound Transit or Metro, but those schedules are changing. So check before you go trying to catch your bus or your train.
Question for Rob, Gannon, Metro.
Rob?
Just can you go into the emergency snow network planning? How would a person find out whether that's in effect and where those routes are if it goes down to 50%?
I can. So to be clear, we have not yet made the decision to go to the emergency snow network. We will look to the weather conditions later this afternoon before making that call. By doing it in the middle of the afternoon, we will be able to alert our riders, our customers, and the region that will take effect the following day. So if it is to take effect, it will be the next day. Then our website continues to be the very best resource. MetroWinter.com and rider alerts will tell you where the emergency snow network is, how to access it, how to find your ride, where the safe conditions are, and in addition, where any unsafe or additional cut services are taking place.
Is that a fixed network that routes don't change, or is it a fluid situation where everyone's going to have to check on what routes are running?
It is designed to be a fixed system as close as possible. The weather conditions could continue to interrupt our ability to operate that emergency snow network.
While you're up there, Peter Rogoff was saying on ST buses, they're not going to run the 60-footers, which I presume are the articulated buses. You've got a lot of articulated buses. Those often get into trouble when things get bad. But are you going to take those off, or are you just going to? I noticed they were running the other day.
So a clear distinction here. Metro will continue to operate our 60-foot articulated coaches, with the exception of the electric trolleys that are 60-foot articulated coaches. So we'll ground the 60-foot trolleys because they will experience the most difficulties, but the other Artics, they are the workhorses of our system. So as crowds start to come back, we want to be able to carry them. We're cognizant of the fact that they do get caught in snow, so we have our crews ready to go out and offer assistance.
Are you, when are you going to make the decision whether to put chains on buses, and just generally, how long does it take to put chains on one bus, and how many buses might you have to chain up?
So first, we have outstanding mechanics that can put chains on awful damn quick.
That's a technical term.
Technical term there. So we have already made the decision to chain our coaches for this afternoon's PM commute, and you may see our crews literally out on the street where buses are laying over putting the chains on. We made that decision because if we put the chains on at start of service, they would have run all day on dry pavement, and that would have created more difficulties. So we're in the midst of chaining the fleet right now.
Mayor Durkan, will you speak about the 59-year-old homeless man that died due to exposure? I know you spoke about some of the efforts that are being done to mitigate that, but that's really the worst case scenario in this kind of storm.
It is a really, I mean, I think at first it breaks everyone's heart that we've lost a life, and it just shows the importance of number one, having us open additional shelters, both warming shelters for the day for people to come inside. I also want to commend Jason Johnson and the Human Service Department because they've been working with all of our shelter providers so that shelters that are normally just overnight shelters are actually performing as 24/7 so people can come out of the cold. We're doing everything we can to make sure people can come inside. It's why both the fire and police department are looking for people. If you see someone who's living outside and you're not sure they're okay, call, because we want to make sure we get them somewhere safe. So I think that we've seen that. We've also seen, you know, a tragic accident where a person sledding was hit by a car. We just really want to keep people safe. And so, you know, taking that extra step yourself to keep yourself safe, your family safe, and then if you see people that are in need, make sure that we can help them because we're doing everything we can to have that capacity.
One follow-up question on just in terms of referrals, like the Navigation Center needed a referral to go in. What about the referrals to tiny house villages? Are those going to be open for the next 72 hours or so?
We are working to make sure that on a regular basis we know everywhere there's a capacity in place. Mary's Place is opening an extra family shelter downtown on about 7th and Stewart. We have the extra facility that's coming into the Park Service area down at Garfield Community Center. We want to make sure that, and so we are in regular communication so that our navigation team now is doing only outreach. They're trying to go to everybody who's sleeping outside, living outside, to know where they can get in somewhere safe and warm. The county has been a terrific partner on this, working together to make sure that their facilities and our facilities are talking to each other, and that we're making room where we can make room. So we are doing all we can. I think we know how tough it is in this area for people to live outside usually. In weather events like this, when we not only have snow, but that the wind is expected to pick up and the wind chills can be extreme, we really want to keep people safe.
I just want to add to that. Some of you have seen this already, but the county, we've added 50, capacity for 50 additional overnight beds at the administration building at 4th and Jefferson. And across the street, where we've already had an overnight shelter, we've added the capacity for 100 people to be there during the day to stay warm and to get connected to services. If you come to one of our shelters, or if you come to the Armory at the Seattle Center, we, the county, the city, will find a place for you to be safe overnight. We are not going to turn people away, but it is obviously important that we reach people on the streets who may not be watching these broadcasts and really encourage them to get in, get warm, and we'll get them situated.
Well, time for one more question.
Whoa.
Go ahead.
What building is that where the day shelter is?
It is a 3-story or 2.5-story building at 4th and Jefferson. So it's directly across the hall to the east from City Hall Park.
We have one more because that was like a half question. Maybe the fire chief can answer this. Can you talk about ways that people are trying to heat their homes that are so dangerous?
Great question.
Leaving the ovens open, what people are doing wrong.
Sure.
Sure, and I can't say there are ways that people are actually doing it, and we're going to encourage people not to do it. But, you know, if someone uses their stove and their oven and they want to heat the house, well, carbon monoxide becomes an issue. If you're going to run a generator, you want to make sure you're running it properly outside where it's ventilated properly, and run your electrical cords to whatever you're plugging up. Barbecues, they're designed for the outside. All of these different things, and like I said earlier, even the heaters that you can go and buy that work, they aren't designed to be run 24 hours a day for several days, because what happens is the electrical cords get hot and they start to melt when they're on the floor and they catch the carpet, and generally we have a room fire at that point. So it's not just the ones that aren't designed, it's the ones that are designed to be used inside the home. We want to be conscious and aware of that also, and that's what I spoke to. Make sure your carbon monoxide detectors are working. Make sure your smoke detectors are working. That system works. We know it works. We'll be alerted and we'll be ready to go there.
And I think I would add to that too. Also, we've been working with trying to do outreach to a lot of the community-based organizations that work with immigrant and refugee communities who don't speak English, because we want to make sure that everyone in Seattle gets the adequate warnings regardless of what language they speak, from whether it's to stay home, what the bus routes will be, but also how to keep themselves safe. So again, want to thank all of our partners who've been really working around the clock to make sure that we're not just working as a team, but we're letting the public know as much as we can, and trying to reach out to all those communities in Seattle and in the region. Thank you very much for your time, and stay off the roads.